answers or the statements which are written by the students where they are going wrong basically, and how can we correct it. These are some of the examples. So don't feel embarrassed if this is your statement, don't worry about it, we want to correct it. For example, there was a question that discuss GDP per head is the best measure for comparing living standards of different regions or countries. It's a discussed question, 8-mark question, so it should be two-sided. That is one thing. So some of the students have started like this. This is a separate statement from one of the students that is written: GDP per head is the product by which the total economy of the country changes. This is one statement, and one of the students has written it is the total capita income. I always tell you that when a question is given to you, read the question, take some time. What do you want to write? Don't write in haste. Maybe you know the concept, but in haste you are writing something which is not accurate, not correct, it's not a fact. Okay? So we have to avoid that. What we have to consider over here, this statement that GDP per head is the product by which the total economy of the country changes. At this stage, you all know that GDP stands for gross domestic product. It is the national income actually. And what is the correct sentence to write? GDP is the total value of goods and services produced in the economy. That is GDP. And if the question is saying GDP per head, so I told you that in the beginning, in the first paragraph, try to write down, and you should write down the key terms, define them accurately. So that has to be written that GDP is the total value of goods and services produced in an economy, and it is measured at a specific point of time. GDP per head is different. Now GDP per head means that the total GDP is divided by the total population, and it is known as the GDP per capita as well. So that is the measure. Okay. One of the students, although reading that this is a discussed question, you are writing a one-sided answer. So for one-sided answer, maximum if your answer is a perfect one, they are going to give you 6 out of 8, 5 out of 8, but not 8 out of 8 because your answer is not balanced. You are not balancing the answer by writing on both the sides. Okay, this one is basically, if you read this statement, it is the total capita income. This is basically where you have not thought before writing what you are writing over here. So avoid these statements which you are going to write. Okay. Now one of the students have written that when there is expansionary fiscal policy will reduce inflation. Will reduce inflation. Yeah, sure. Expansionary fiscal policy will reduce inflation. Generally, what we have studied, that when there is an expansionary fiscal policy, there will be more government spending, taxes will be reduced. And when the taxes will be reduced, it means that there can be more spending in the economy, and that will lead to demand pull inflation. So you have written 2 pages, for example, but you have written this statement, and after that statement the student has basically written the fact that expansionary fiscal policy will increase purchasing power, more incomes will be there. So he has supported the idea, that is correct. But initially this is written, so this means that this may be written in a haste, or if there is a concept mismatch, I would say. Avoid this. This will spoil your answer. The entire thing, the entire hard work which you have done for pages, this is practically written. Okay. Another student is writing about the question which I gave you for deflation. Writing that good deflation will decrease the prices as the income or demand is low. अब this statement has so many contradictions. Good deflation will decrease the prices as the income demand is low. This is not good deflation. Good deflation is when there is an increase in the aggregate supply in the economy. That is good deflation. For example, one of the students have written good deflation, but in the entire answer never explained what is good deflation. How can you get marks from that? It is not the point, but it is the development of the point which you should be writing, focusing on for the answers. Okay. So that is one thing. Another thing which one of the students did was writing too much. When you write a lot, it will waste your time, and the sentences may carry errors, wrong statements. Avoid that. I told you to explain, but not to explain to such a level that the examiner is looking where the right point is. He has to search for it. Where is the correct point? I told you, if you write a wrong fact or a wrong statement according to the theory, if you are getting, for example, 4 ticks on your answer, very important to note, you are getting 4 marks actually. But you are writing an absolutely wrong sentence like this statement: good deflation will decrease the prices as the income or demand is low. There will be a tick over here. And what this tick will do? It will take out the marks from here. So now you are going to get 3 marks. So that thing you have to take care of it. The questions which I gave you were a combination of all difficult questions from the papers which I gave you. So the students, they have attempted, but the thing is that there are many flaws still to work on. So remember this particular thing.